Welcome to the Shekina Meditation Podcast, created by Shekina community members. Shekina communities are dedicated to creating free devotional spaces of Christian practice for spiritual seekers and travelers around the world. We post Christ-centered guided meditation each week to help you in your personal or small group practice. You can find episode, show notes, and other information at shekinacommunity.com.
Hello, this is Rowan.
And this is Ray.
This is week 6 of the podcast, and we are jazzed to be here.
We are. It's Thursday, October 11th as we record. We're down the hill at a little resort in the jungle at the River Gathering.
The River Gathering!
We've been talking about preparing for the River Gathering since we first started this podcast, and now we're finally here.
Yay! It's amazing. There's about 70 people here from all over the world. Folks who are running hostels, ashrams, devotional communities, all people who are hanging out with travelers and walking the Christ path, and it is amazing.
Yeah, there's some traveling groups as well, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Tell me about some of your highlights so far, Ray.
Today our friend Zara guided a dance meditation, and Solomon, my little guy, and my other little guy, Isaac, wanted to come, and Kenya came, so there were 3 kids of mine in the dance meditation. We were all kind of circling each other and dancing, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and I saw you dancing around in there.
It was such a good time. Yeah, I really love dance and movement meditation, and Zara just runs it like absolutely masterfully. I really love how she guides.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a highlight.
Yeah.
Brendan he's prepared some devotionals for us, like a little teaching. And 2 mornings in a row he did it with all his humor and warmth and his wisdom, and that's been really fun for me to listen to. I really like that.
He's a really good teacher. He just loves the word and loves teaching. It's really good. I've really loved meeting people from all over. So I met these amazing people. I've just been meeting people every day, but 2 people who I love right now are Joshua and Shalon, who live in Alabama at a place called Nomad's Land. And they have school buses and tiny houses and sort of like a hostel-ish, and they do lots of hospitality and they travel around with Rainbow, and they do lots of amazing stuff, and I love them.
Yeah, and I've known them for a long time too, so it's really exciting to see them here in Thailand.
Yes.
I've known them since I first got married. I met Joshua the first time I ever was in San Francisco and started on this journey. So.
Amazing. And now I get to meet them, and they're gorgeous. I love them. Yep. And so many other people from all over, and connecting with people who have come through our community over the last years and reconnecting with what they're up to in the world.
Yeah.
It's been really beautiful.
When we've been singing and doing worship together, there's been so many instruments in the room. It's been amazing. That
has been beautiful.
And we are seeing some friends of ours shine very brightly.
Yeah.
Many, more than we can count even. But Chinua, who has been planning this for a long time, and then our dear friend Gabe from Brazil, and our dear friend Jan, who is Dutch but lives in Spain.
Yep.
They've all been doing this amazing work of making this gathering happen.
Yeah, and really just making it super interactive and trying to pull in as much wisdom from as many different people as they can. I really admire their approach with it. Yeah,
so we've been doing panels and having conversations and small groups around tables, and it's just been really good. There's been some wrestling happening.
Yeah.
I believe you were
physical wrestling.
Yeah, you were in a wrestling match.
Yeah, well, Jan, who's about 6'5" and tall Dutch big guy, just asked who wants to wrestle, and so I said yes. I thought he was joking, and he wasn't joking, and he came at me, so I took him on. But then also Neil jumped in and helped me, and we took him down.
Yeah.
We took him down.
You did. You did.
I'm not a girl to shirk away from such a challenge,
No, you're not. And the rumors about you, Ro, are that you are very strong. Yes. And that we might want you on our side in a dark alley.
Totally. Yeah. I'll be on your side.
So we head back on Saturday. And not only us, many people will come along to see what's going on, which means that Shekina Garden on Sunday will probably explode.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great. This podcast is supported by you. Because this podcast is about meditation, we want to keep it ad-free. Our beloved patrons at patreon.com support us for as little as $1 a month. and patrons who pledge as little as $3 get extra audio every month. You can find us at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast.
Supporting this podcast helps to keep Shekina communities running and free for travelers and spiritual seekers. And it helps us know that you appreciate what we're doing in putting this podcast out into the world. Thank you, patrons. You're the best. You make us wriggle and squiggle like happy puppies.
The chubbiest happy puppies.
Yes, like those ones with too much skin.
They're super soft. Yeah, their skin is all skinny. Like not skinny, but
no, like fat skinny.
Yeah.
Like a lot of skin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Today's meditation is a Lectio Divina from Psalm 126 with Rowan, recorded live at Shekina Garden in Pai. The meditation will have 3 parts. During the first, Rowan will guide you through getting ready for meditation. During the second, she will read through the verses slowly with a lot of silence.
Then for the third part, you can either journal your experience or share in a small group. A good sharing circle gives people space to share about their experience of the meditation without being corrected or criticized. Just hearing from each other and giving each other space and lots of listening and love.
Let's begin. Christ-centered meditation is about creating space in our minds. It is a time of quiet that allows room for the Spirit of God to speak to our hearts. We learn to master our thoughts and come back to a place of focus, again and again, to be quiet before the divine presence of God, and to spend time with a single thought or idea. Meditation is a Christian practice like prayer or study, worship or fasting. As with all practices, there are easy and hard days. But as we bring this practice into our lives, we grow with it over time. We learn to love this spacious place with God, who invites us to grow in the silence with Him. If you find that you are distracted and need to keep drawing yourself back to your focus, do not be discouraged. This is the muscle that you are exercising with meditation. And I believe that this act of refocusing is the heart of meditation. Be kind and encouraging to yourself as you practice. You can follow along alone or with others in a quiet place, outdoors or at home. A quick warning: we don't recommend meditating while driving. Be safe.
Welcome this morning to Shekina Garden, to meditation here today. We're going to do a Lectio Divina style meditation. It's going to have 3 parts today, so I'll guide us in some mindfulness and just readying our bodies and our minds to hear from the divine. Then I'll be reading a psalm from the ancient scriptures. It's 6 verses long. I'll read it a couple of times with some space and some questions. And then a third part is going to be a talking circle where we share our experiences of the meditation. I just invite you during this practice just to let your imaginations go wild. Let your thoughts travel down any little paths they want to travel down, any memories, any thoughts. Any recollections, they might be the way that the divine is speaking to you today. It might be a prompt from God. Maybe just explore it with your mind and have a childlike exploration of the words that we meditate on today. Let's begin. We'll find a comfortable position to sit in. Something where we can breathe easily with our spine nice and straight. You might like to imagine a string out of the top of your head being drawn up very gently into the sky just to help your spine be long and straight. And we're going to draw our attention to our breath. Just breathing normally and comfortably and noticing the sensations of the air coming in and out of our bodies. There's no rules about how to sit or how our bodies need to be during this meditation, but to begin with, let's just settle into a still and comfortable position. As we breathe together, I would just like to remind you that you are so welcome here. That the divine welcomes you to this space, to this practice. Whatever your experience has been, however you're feeling today, whatever your relationship is towards the divine, you're welcome here. We hope Shekina Garden can be a safe place where people can join in with practice devoted to Jesus and explore what a relationship with the divine might look like for you. As we continue to breathe in and out mindfully, just picture your body in your mind's eye. Notice every part of your body. Notice the parts of your body that are touching the floor. Notice the parts of your body that are touching each other, perhaps your hands on your lap or your knees, your legs crossed on each other. Notice the feeling of your clothes against your skin, different parts that are tighter or looser. Notice any breeze on your skin that you might be able to feel. We're going to continue to move through the senses. So is there any taste on your tongue at the moment? Even though our eyes are closed, they're still working. Can you notice any shapes or sensations on the inside of your eyelids? Can you sense where the source of light is coming from, even with your eyes closed? How about your sense of smell? Can you smell anything on the air? And let's notice what we can hear around us. Perhaps notice the furthest away sound that you can hear in the distance. Or what is the closest sound that you can notice? Continuing to be mindful of your breath. Bring your attention back to your body, sitting on the ground. And purposefully bring relaxation to your body. There's certain parts of our body that we're likely to hold tension in or hold in a stiff position. You know those parts of your own body, perhaps your hips or your shoulders. As you breathe, perhaps as you exhale, you might like to imagine letting go or consciously release some of the tension in those parts of your body as it's available to you. Maybe unclench your jaw. Make sure your chin isn't jutting out in front of your body. Maybe let the muscles in your face relax across your brow. Just welcoming stillness and relaxation to your body. Once our bodies are still, it's often then that we can realize that our minds are still quite busy. So let's take a few moments to notice our thought life. Notice what's happening in the inner world, what our thoughts and our emotions are doing. Not judging them, just noticing them. You might like to imagine taking each thought or concern or worry, noticing it, and then you might like to imagine putting it to the side, perhaps away on a shelf or in a drawer. Somewhere where it will be safe during the time of meditation and where you don't need to be concerned with it. We're going to spend a few moments doing that. Noticing each thought, just acknowledging it, not judging it, then putting it to the side. It might be a to-do list or things that already happened this morning, anything that's on your mind or your heart. Just taking some time to gently put them to the side. If you find during the meditation that any of these thoughts come back to bother you or concern you or distract you, feel free just to take another moment to notice them and then put them back on the shelf or away somewhere. It's normal for our minds to not remain focused for the entire time, all in one steady line. Meditation is just the practice of bringing our focus back. You might like to resolve just to be kind to yourself during this meditation practice and to gently bring your focus back again and again. If you find yourself having wandered off in focus, just return to this place of stillness, of relaxation of the body, and of putting thoughts to the side, and of focus on the breath. And as we turn to the second part of our meditation, As we listen to these words of Scripture, you might perhaps like to turn your palms face upward on your knees or in your lap as a sign of receiving from the divine, a symbol of listening, of openness to what God might say to you. You might like to also offer a silent prayer, perhaps asking God to speak to you or just telling the divine that you're listening. The scripture I'll be reading from today is from the book of Psalms, an ancient songbook in the scriptures. And I'll be reading Psalm 126. And during this first reading, I just invite you to let the words wash over you and to perhaps look for a word or phrase that stands out to you above the others. Maybe a word or a sentence that seems to shine. You might like to ask the divine to bring a word or phrase to your attention. Psalm 126. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, "The Lord has done great things for them." The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like streams in the Negev. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. During this second reading, I'll leave a couple of minutes silence between each sentence or phrase. I just invite you again to perhaps ask the Divine, what is it you would say to me through these words today? Is there something I need to hear from these words today? When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, "The Lord has done great things for them." Then they said among the nations, "The Lord has done great things for them." The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad. The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like streams in the Negev. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like streams in the Negev. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. On this final reading, you might like to again ask the Divine if there is a word or phrase or idea that is for you today. You might like to ask, what is it about this word or phrase that I need to hear today? What part of my life needs to hear this today? When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, "The Lord has done great things for them." The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like streams in the Negev. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. Is there any response in your heart towards these words? Is there any response you'd like to offer back to the divine, to these words spoken to you today? Slowly, and as you're ready, begin to draw your attention back to your body, to your breath, to where you're sitting. You might like to take a few deeper breaths. Or perhaps wriggle your fingers and toes. In a moment, as we're ready, we'll share a talking circle. And as a sign that you're ready to move on to that time together, just let your eyes be open. Just take your time.
When you are ready, take a few deep breaths and begin your time of journaling or sharing with others. Thank you for joining today. There will be a new guided meditation each week, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes or sign up for our newsletter to get podcasts delivered to your inbox at www.shekinacommunity.com/podcast newsletter. Have a beautiful week. Blessings to you.